we were talking about last on the podcast, and you're like, "Oh, I want to bring this up, but I couldn't figure out the best way to do it." The $200 million a day to Ukraine. Where
Mm-hmm.
you showed me this whole like breakdown video,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I hadn't even like when you think that you're sending money to an organization. Oh no, no, not an organization.
A country.
When a country, you're like, "Oh, that money's going there directly, right?"
Right.
But it's like it's actually money. The money that you send isn't going to that country. It's going to the developers of the people that will send things to that country,
Yeah.
which is a mind blow to me because everybody talks about like support Ukraine. It's like, no, actually, you're supporting America to support Ukraine.
Well, yeah.
Right. No, no, right. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
it's like,
understand.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
we never, that's not in the marketing material.
No, but it's all in the information. It's all in the bill, right?
But
It's
who
like
reads that, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's all. This is the
Yeah.
breakdown. This money's going here. The money's going here. Da, 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 da. Like these are the weapons. This is how much these things cost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what the insane part about that whole thing is it reminds me of like, I mean, like all nonprofits do it where it's like every dollar goes towards like 90 cents of that dollar goes towards administrative fees, and then 10% or 10 cents of that dollar is 10%, 10 cents of that dollar goes towards like the actual cause itself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you a lot like you don't promote that as a marketer because it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
then why would you donate? You're like, so every dollar I get, so 90% is going towards your administrative fees. The only ones that really promote that are the ones that are able to figure out how to make 90% go towards the cause and 10% to administrative fees. Okay. So with this whole thing, it's like, what a hustle we're all doing because you see so many, like if you switch, all right, here's the marketing campaign for that. Right now, the current marketing campaign, send your money to that country so that you could support them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or you say, send your money so that America can make stuff to help support them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about framing. Which one are you going to pick? Both are true, but which one sounds better? And they went with the one where it's like, no, we're not going to talk about supporting America. You know what I'm saying?
Who did
It's
that?
like
Who said that?
everyone like that. That's
No, no,
that's
no, no,
all.
no.
That's
That's not.
why
That's
I didn't
not.
know. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
What do you
yeah.
mean?
I'm saying like who's making that framing. I don't think the government or Biden's government wasn't making that framing. They were. It's everything's in the bill, right?
Right. But right. I'm saying like social media, like the people that are promoting this message, like support Ukraine, support Ukraine, support Ukraine. You're like, oh, I'm support Ukraine. Right. But if you said, because the reason why this all started is because I sent you that one thing where it's making fun of the guy, the leader, remember? And then
Yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, he's getting like $1 million a day, but for doing nothing. And you're like, actually, that's not even true. And I was like, what do you mean? Because like this is what the meme said, you know? And then
Mm-hmm.
like you
So
showed
it,
me that whole Wall Street Journal thing. Yeah, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So it depends on like which side is viewing the meme, right? On the Democrat
Exactly.
side, I think it's like we're supporting them through. They may not know. I think if of course if you look at it, but like on the Republican side, it's more like, oh, he's just throwing away our money.
And you're like, no, he's not. He's
No,
supporting your
he's
jobs, bro.
supporting
Your
American jobs.
economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the war machine, bro. This is what nobody realizes. Like the military industrial complex is how they make money, you know? The reason why America's on top is because they're the best military.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at how they pulled themselves out of World War II, they were in the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we all remember the Great Depression. Everyone's like, oh, we have no money. And then they pulled themselves out of the Great Depression through World War II. They're like, if we manufacture weapons, we can create jobs. And those jobs will help support our economy because it gives people work. Okay. And people forgot this. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the foundation of the military industrial complex, basically the war machine that's supporting like their economy. Their economy is built off war, right? And maybe that's why, like I've listened to a lot of journalists talk about this. We've never been, not we, but like America's never been outside of war since World War II. Because right after like the Vietnam War, like they kept manufacturing different things to send them back to war. And then um I was listening to like Freeway Rick Ross, the guy who this is a crazy, you know about him? Not the rapper.
No, no, no. I don't think so.
Okay, so
Maybe I don't know.
this is a true story, bro. All right, he was in Barry Seal. You remember Barry Seal? Friggin' the Tom Cruise movie. That was a good movie.
Tom
He was
Cruise
Barry
movie.
Seal was flying in the cocaine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, remember Tom Cruise and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like American something,
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
uh,
American Spy. Was it?
American
Not
Made, maybe.
American Made, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened was Barry Seal was going to Colombia, flying. I think it was Colombia. Sorry, if it's not Colombia. Um, he was flying in the cocaine from there for the CIA, and then they were selling it to the black community in
Mm-hmm.
the form of like crack. And like then you were also selling it to the higher ups because crack and cocaine are the same thing. They're just mixed differently. Like one's a lower substance than the other one. And they hired this guy, Freeway Rick Ross, who was like an ex tennis player. You can go listen to this on Joe Rogan. He was an ex tennis player who was hired by the CIA, but he didn't know it to send to sell it to the streets. And he was moving like billions of dollars a year in
Mm-hmm.
cocaine. But he like didn't know the supplier. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna sell this, right?
Sure.
But then when
Yeah.
you trace who the supplier was, it was the Americans, the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we know that you're doing this nefarious thing about like um like shadily sending like money like drugs throughout the black community and like I don't know celebrities. But like now the new thing is the war on drugs, right? Like crackdowns. Because like if you can't create a war externally, you create one internally, which is
Mm-hmm.
what the genius was. And I've seen so many things about this where if you look at the military suits that they have to go into these crack dens and like these low impoverished communities, and like if you watch even Straight Outta Compton, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
the opening scene where they're in Compton and then they use the tank to break down the door
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
all the SWAT comes in, like that's the military industrial complex. You either create a war outside or you create a war internally,
Mm-hmm.
and both create jobs and money, right? So like should Americans be really pissed about this Ukraine thing or should they be pretty happy about it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Sure.
Like I feel like well, when you find that out, you're like, dude, am I being played? Is everything like, am I being played about everything in this world? You know what I'm saying? Like this like chess game of Kamala Harris versus Trump, and then now this chess game of like war. And like, yeah, we're gonna make them think that they're sending money to Ukraine, and then the bleeding heart liberals will be like, yeah, I want to support Ukraine, and then like the conservatives know like, oh, actually, you're supporting like internal jobs, so they're both happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if we don't promote that you're actually supporting yourself through this military industrial complex, you're gonna altruistically think to yourself, like, hey, I'm doing a good thing, I'm supporting Ukraine.
Right. Yeah.
But then the Republicans are like, you're actually supporting American jobs, so we're happy. So both sides are happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just the messaging that you promote.
But yeah, which side of the news you're watching, though, right? That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
And
problem.
then that's the question. It's like, are we just being played?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it just, I think this goes back to like what we said last week about impartial news. We don't have impartial news, and because of that, it's like we're we're being framed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
framed, not framed like,
No, no,
set
I
up
get
like
that. Yeah.
framed,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
framing.
Your where your attention and emotion lies. It's being controlled by whatever you're seeing. But
Yeah.
we were watching this on was it New York, not New York Times, it was
Well, Washington Post.
Washington Post, right? Yeah.
So the thing you're saying, like this whole like money thing, it's not even like you're like, oh, you guys are conspiracy theorists. Washington Post put this out, bro.
Yeah.
I still haven't cut it up. I will cut it up after this one, but yes, you were using a trusted news source. It's not like this is the thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not
yeah.
going anywhere else.
Like
Yeah.
when right when people
Yeah.
are like, hey, why do you believe in UFOs and UAPs? I'm like, the Washington, I think it was Washington Post as well. They put the UAP article out, bro. If we're not gonna trust a trusted news source who vets their information,
But
what
it
are you gonna
depends.
trust,
But
bro?
the thing is this, right? There's also who's I think it was even Washington Post or New York Times about that. Oh, America has been funneling this war to happen in Ukraine. Remember
Oh
something?
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Remember
remember
that?
that. Yeah,
But
yeah.
those are like headlines either on the right wing that was mainly pushing that thing. But if you actually read the article, they weren't pushing any war. They were denying requests that Ukraine wanted, and okay, we can help in this way, but we're not doing any
Yep. Okay.
military
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
military stuff,
But
right?
that's who's gonna deep dive the article. You did.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is this, right? Is I understand who's going to deep dive, but if you really want to know, you have to deep dive. If you don't really want to
Yeah.
know, then you're just going to read that one side, and you just want to fill up your hatred or love for America, whichever whichever
Okay.
side that you're on.